Welcome back to the Excel Still More podcast. I'm so thankful that you've joined. Today's episode is sponsored by Spiritbuilding Publishers. This group of Christians is committed to providing fresh, relevant, and practical Bible study material for today's Christian families and churches. Their workbooks and devotionals are rooted in Scripture, easy to teach, and written for the real world we live in. Whether you're studying with teens or leading a class or just growing on your own, the Spirit Building website provides you with a wide variety of options. You can visit them at spiritbuilding.com and discover materials that can help you and your church excel still more. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so thankful that you're listening today. It means a great deal to me. This journey, 7-8 years of learning and applying and sharing is a great joy in my life, and I hope that you find it beneficial to you. Today, our focus will be in the book of Proverbs. As beautiful and timeless and immediately applicable as the Proverbs are, I don't know that we've given it a ton of attention over the 300 or 400 episodes, occasionally one quoted here or there. Today, I want to dig in a little bit, tell you about that book, and tackle one specific theme that permeates the book. There are a handful of those, but one of them is the power of words. And most vitally, the good you can do with your words when you learn how to wait. W.A.I.T. Before we get into that specific, let me tell you a little bit about a recent study that we're going through at the Lindale congregation. We are studying the book of Proverbs. We're laying it out in 10 lessons, and it has been so rich. I've read it. You've read it. I've got markings all over it. But going back through it this time, we've had some exercises and projects along the way. It's never been so rich, probably because I've never been 47 before and had kids the age that they are and lived through as many things. We're always learning and growing, and the Proverbs just get richer. I cannot encourage you enough to embark upon a regular reading of the book of Proverbs. I think for some of us, when we think about that book, we think tons and tons of random two-line proverbs that are just kind of smushed together in an unorganized and indiscernible way. And there is some truth to that. Maybe chapters 10 through 25, it's all awesome, but it's very random. Things are spread out. And there's a certain way that you can approach marking the book of Proverbs to take advantage of that. I'm going to show that to you today. But I would like to recommend a couple of other things. First of all, the month of March is coming. Here at the Lindale congregation, we are going to march through Proverbs. It's been several years since we've done that. I'm excited that it will come in the third month of a study that we've been doing on the book, and I hope that they find that rich. And maybe even what we do today can get you excited about what is possible. But the month of March has 31 days. The book of Proverbs has 31 chapters. So March 1st, read chapter 1 and 2 and 3 all the way throughout. I'm taking up that challenge, and I'm encouraging you to do as well. And while that does get tricky in the middle chapters, because each verse is saying a different thing, not exclusively and all the time, but there is a lot of variety, the first 9 chapters or so are actually quite contextual. When we did the 10-part series that we're in presently in Proverbs, in lessons 6 through 10, one of which I'll talk to you about today, we just picked a topic, pulled together 10 verses through Proverbs, and made some observations. That's exactly what most of today's episode will be. But our first 5 weeks, we progressed chapters 1 through 9, and there is some context. There are some recurring themes that fit tightly together, like wisdom versus folly, or the adulterous woman, or violent evil influences. And it does carry thought for multiple verses. So when you do this march through Proverbs, you'll find it pretty easy to follow the flow of thought there for about 8 to 10 chapters. Once you get to the back half, you'll want to be thinking about chain referencing. For instance, today, I'm going to talk to you about the power of words. And if you're willing to do so, and all 10 passages will be in the show notes, I would like for you to open up your paper Bible with margins and a pencil and create your own chain reference. And I'll teach you about that in a minute. I personally just enjoy that process. I enjoy jotting down things that placehold ideas and make it easier to study later. But in particular, I hope that you're drawn to the topic today. We need to learn to monitor better our words. In the New Testament, we get a lot of teaching about this. Jesus says, what you say is who you are. The intentions of your heart become measurable and impactful on the world, on your family, on everyone, not just by what you're thinking, but when that becomes words. The book of James warns that the tongue is this powerful, powerful thing that can help you control your whole life or can set every single piece of property around you on fire. And the tongue is a restless evil in that it always carries that potential. And if we don't learn to be patient and intentional always with our words, then we may end up doing more damage than good. Here's some good news. The book of Proverbs will help. And here's how I would like to approach this today. I am just going to read for you 10 passages. I will not add any commentary, just go from one to the other. It will not take long to do. And then I'll make some observations about our title today, W.A.I.T, W-A-I-T. Credit to my buddy Kyle Dykes for that. It's amazing. And then we will take the 10 verses that have been presented. I'll kind of bring them together into what I believe to be 5 directly applicable points. And we'll all go about our day making application. If you enjoy this approach, please let me know. We're going to be doing this in our Bible classes for 5 different topics. The power of wording. Next week is about diligence and work ethic, and I'm organizing them all the same way. 10 verses you can create a chain for in the book of Proverbs, and you can always add to that other verses later, and 5 synthesized points. At the very least, make sure if you're not getting emails from me with regular Lindell stuff, that you get your email to me. You can send it to emersonk78@me.com. I'll add you to the regular Lindell rotation thing, and you'll get all the stuff, including the PDF version of all of these slides as they're made available. Okay, let's read 10 Proverbs together. Proverbs 10:19. Where there are many words, transgression is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. Proverbs 12:18. There is one who speaks rashly, like the thrusts of a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. The next verse is also really good. Truthful lips will be established forever, but a lying tongue is only for a moment. Same chapter, chapter 12, verse 25. Anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down, but a good word makes it glad. Chapter 13, verse 3. The one who guards his mouth preserves his life. The one who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. Proverbs 15, verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Verse 4 of the same chapter. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but perversion in it crushes the spirit. Chapter 16, verse 24, pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. 3 more. Chapter 7, verses 27 and 28. He who restrains his words has knowledge, and he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding. Even a fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is considered prudent. Chapter 18, verse 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. And then chapter 21, verse 23, he who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. Now again, there are other passages, and when you come upon them, you'll want to add them into the chain. But here's how you do this. I'll have all of these listed in the show notes, or you can get the email from me. But you go to Proverbs 10:19, and beside it you put words or some key like that. And you write right there in the margin, chapter 12, verse 18. And then when you go over to 12:18, you put words in the margin, and you write 12:25. And you go down to 12:25, and you do the same thing. You write 13:3. And when you get over to 13:3 in the margin, you write 15:1. You get it? And then when you get to the last one in your cycle, which for us today is 21:23, what do you write down there? You write the first one, chapter 10, verse 19. You connect the ends of the chain. Now, here's the real beauty of this. All you have to be able to do is find one of these verses, and you found all 10. Now, along the way, when you're reading through Proverbs, maybe you find, let's say, 3 more that you think are amazing. At that point, all you really need to do is find one of the ones that's in the chain and just write that one somewhere near it, so that the next time you're going through the chain and you get to 1624, you'll have a little note there saying, hey, check out that chapter 17 verse as well, like little connected burrs that come off the chain. A great way then to study is just read all of them and ask the question, what are the dominant themes that tie together that must not be missed? From there, though I doubt we'll have the time today, you can begin to connect that to New Testament passages. A lot of what James 3 is saying, Solomon is also saying, much of what Jesus spoke about, the heart and the mouth and the connection is found here as well. And before you know it, you've got yourself a great Bible study going that has enriched your journey through the Proverbs and has helped you understand New Testament teaching on a deeper and more personally applied level. Truth be told, I would love to start a video series or a podcast series just on how we can better study the Bible, but that is not what you've signed up for today. So thank you for your 11 minutes of patience. We'll get into our 5 points for the rest of the episode. And I think I'll even hold off on explaining the title today for just a couple of minutes because we will explore it in point 3. But here's our first major lesson from these Proverbs. Words dictate outcomes. They produce life. They produce death. Properly chosen words at the right time and with the right intention, with some level of discipline and consistency, will make your life better, will bring you into a stronger, saved relationship with the Lord, and lead you into eternity. Your words have that level of power. Maybe we forget that sometimes. People go, God knows my heart. Yes, and He hears your heart with every word that you say and everything that you type, and He's not the only one. The people in your life, they know your heart too. In part, sure, by the actions that you take, but the precursor for nearly all action is rhetoric and the words that we're saying. To mind our speech is to control our lives. James talks about that. You learn to bridle the tongue and the whole body will follow. To me, that means better behavior, better choices, all that stuff we pray about and preach about. Those are the outgrowth of the right kind of speech, talking about, typing about, the right attitude and the right things. So it starts in heart and mind. The world experiences it first through your words, and from your speech comes your actions. Give it great weight. Please don't be one of those people who says, people shouldn't judge me on the words that I say and the things that I post. They should judge me by ... They can determine who you are by that metric, but you got to be honest with yourself. Words dictate outcomes, and that's what's happening in your life. Take some time and measure yourself by the words that you're speaking. An honest evaluation there may unlock some things in you that you've been deceiving yourself about. So point number 1 is pretty simple. This is a really big deal, and any effort you put into monitoring how you communicate with God and others is time well spent. Number 2, tone carries great weight. There are different ways of saying things. Softness settles. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Harshness ignites, creates an adversarial spirit, more turmoil, and ultimately leads to transgression, and maybe a lot of it. In our Bible class, I talked quite a bit about the pre-marriage counseling stuff that I've had the opportunity to do so many times over the years, and lesson 1 is always communication. And so the first question I ask these 2 young people in love is, what is communication? And we talk about how it's conveying what's in your mind, your thoughts and the emotions you've attached to it, to the other person, so that when it gets into their mind, it still means the same thing. And that can be challenging. And we use 2 types of communication to do that. We do verbal and nonverbal. Verbal is your choice of words. What do you actually say? Is it the best thing? Ephesians 4:29, great passage. Is it the right thing in the right moment for the right purpose? And then nonverbal is fun to talk with them about, which is your eye contact, your body orientation, whether you're holding hands or not, or your whole body's turned towards watching Survivor or something. Like that all tells a story too. But for today's point, I want to add in the concept of tone. How you say something matters. There are too many Christians, too many people in the church who say, as long as I'm telling the truth and it's the truth, then it doesn't matter how it gets said. The only thing that matters is truth. Well, ignoring the fact that sometimes what they're saying might not be the truth, the manner in which you say it is according to the truth. The patience and gentleness and love that we show in the likeness of Jesus is just as important as the words that you're saying. So things like sarcasm or anger or some shortness or method of saying it where they know you don't mean it. A fun little exercise I do with those who are engaged is we take the term "I'm sorry." Those are generally two really good words to put together when talking to someone you care about, and quite honestly, we need much, 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 much more of it among God's people and in the world. But here's the deal. I have the man turn to his fiancée and I say, I want you to tell her, I'm sorry, and make sure she does not believe you. And so his tone, his shortness, and his body orientation convey that to her. And then I tell him, look, now you're really in trouble, buddy. So let's go in, and this time you tell her two words, I'm sorry, but the way that you say it connects to her so deeply that she's just going to forgive you of everything, like total clean slate. And of course, there's this moving towards her and holding her hands, but he slows it down. There's emotion in his voice, and he says, I'm sorry. And even though it's an exercise, it's always fun to see how she responds. So we need to move forward, but here's the thing. Number one, your words matter a ton. Number two, work on tone, softness, and heartfelt conveying of the message. Look, if you just want to get mad and say something that nobody's going to listen to or that will hurt their feelings, then say it however you want. But if this is about more than you and you really want to do some good, there's another way. Number three, restraint is spiritual strength. This is a major theme in the Proverbs we read earlier. Silence is often wisdom. If you speak too quickly, if you say too much, if you go on and on, you only multiply transgressions. You need very often to wait. Our title today is W.A.I.T, Wait a Second. And this came in our class. He told me before, it'd been years ago, I'd forgotten. I'm glad he brought it back up in class. He said, at work, we learn about waiting. W.A.I.T, why am I talking? And that is such a great question. I'm about to say something. Why am I doing that? Why is this the right time? Why are these the right words? Or right in the middle of talking, why am I doing this? Who is this about? It's always a great life question. Is this about me? Or is this about the person in front of me? Or is it about God who's overseeing all of this? So often, listening first. Listening and learning. Maybe the first thing you say is a question to try to better understand. Restraining your expression for the right moment can make all the difference. Practice that. I'll give you a quick example, and then we need to wrap this up. Yesterday in the afternoon, I was playing golf with my 14-year-old son, and he was getting very upset. First few holes did not go his way, and he is a super emotional dude. He's super smart, and he's super lots of things, but emotional and angry at himself is one of those things. And so he's really going off. I mean, he's not profane or anything, but he's getting down on himself and body language and noise, and there's so many things I wanted to say. And I started walking up to him, and then I took a little turn and thought, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'll walk the rest of this hole and just think about, okay, what could really help? If I come in and I come at him hard, he's just going to bounce off of that. Or if I try to reason with him, he's not in a reasonable place. What is the exact best thing to say that can do the most good? Not because I'm frustrated. That would not be a good reason to speak, but for a good outcome. So I waited an extra 30 seconds or so. And then I just walked over and I said, Nick, listen, 10 seconds. Listen, Nick, we are Christians. And we can't have people 3 holes over wondering, what in the world are those people doing over there? We just need to be mindful of our influence. And then I walked off. I used we pronouns. I brought him to task with who we are and how others see, and then I just walked off. And by the time we got to the green, you could see that modification in his countenance. It helped that I think he maybe birdied the next hole, and we were off to a much better day. Number 3, restraint is spiritual wisdom. Number 4, timely words are priceless. We just made this point. 3 and 4 go together. Waiting to speak is great. Always speak last is a great mantra. And then make sure your words are timely. Craftsmanship matters. How you say, what you say, and when. Instead of reiterating the same point I just made, I think I'll read for you Ephesians 4:29. It covers it beautifully. Let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such a word as is good for edification, according to the need of the moment, so that it will give grace to those who hear. So let me land this plane with our last point. I'll walk up to it. You'll see how this all fits together. Point 1, words dictate outcomes. This is a big deal. Make good choices. Number 2, tone carries great weight. How you say it matters as much as what you say. Number 3, restraint is spiritual strength. Sometimes W.A.I.T may be your best approach. Listen first. Number 4, be timely in those words. Put them in the right spot. Craft them for victory. And then number 5, your words reveal your heart. We set this up early, so we're just bringing it all full circle, but just own the idea that your words tell others who you are. There's not some kind, authentic, godly you hidden behind words that betray it. The words are telling yourself and God and others. So please be mindful of your speech. And if you're struggling with something, profanity or anger or outbursts, it's time to go to God in prayer and take that more seriously. If my words reveal my tendencies, my leanings, and my identity, then Lord, please forgive me. Please help me from the inside out. Help me to give this the proper weight. Help me to be wise. Help me to love you and to love others. And instead of saying yet another thing I will regret, Lord, empower me in this moment to just wait a second. Thank you again for listening. If it's helpful to you, please consider sharing with a friend. Speaking of friends, I want to mention once again the sponsor for today's episode, Tyler Cain with Statewide Mortgage. They service Florida, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Colorado, and Alabama. 20 years of experience. They can help you with home mortgage needs, whether you're a first-time buyer, refinancing, or just discussing future home ownership goals. Their website is in the show notes, or you can reach Tyler directly at 813-380-8487. He is a trusted friend and brother, and I encourage you to reach out to him. And in whatever you do today, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, excel still more.